From the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountains. And after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you, and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters, today, the Solemnity of All Saints, Holy Mother Church invites us to reflect on our call to holiness and our call to become saints in performing our daily task of living as Christians and of living as the children of God. This is our call, and we must love that call, and we must live it, and we must obtain the goal, which is to become saints. I don't know how many of you dream of becoming saints. Who has ever dreamt of becoming a saint? I'm seeing some hands flashing, but everybody is down there. Nobody is actually boldly putting up the hand and then telling me that he wants to be a saint. So now let's pick it up again. Who wants to be a saint? I didn't even get half of you. Who wants to be a saint? And I'm repeating it a third time. Who wants to be a saint? My dear friends, whether you like it or not, you are called to be a saint. Tell the person next to you that you are called to be a saint. And today, repeat it to yourself. I must be a saint. 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 There is this thing in spirituality, they call it the mantra. It's a short phrase that you repeat it over and over again, that it becomes part and parcel of you, and then sometimes it even becomes a song that you sing. Today, you must repeat to yourself that I must be a saint, I must be a saint, I must be a saint, I must be a saint. And let people around you hear it, that you desire to be a saint. Because we profess our faith in the communion of saints. And we are part of that communion of saints. And we cannot profess that faith without actually meaning and wishing and living what we profess to be. Each and every one of us, every Sunday at least, we profess the creed. I believe in the communion of saints. Today, pray it with a special kind of energy and a certain kind of understanding that it is not just by mere words, but in fact, deep down in your heart, you must become a saint. I grew up in a village, and we used to go to the farm. And one day, my mother gave me a very graphic advice that I never forgot. We went to a certain mountain or hill where we had all our properties from, let's say, an overview, or you can get a bird's eye view of everything. So she called my name, and I said, "Yes, ma'am." He said, "You've seen everything here. That is all our property. It's free for you. But whenever I ask you to come to the farm, you grumble or you weep or you give an excuse. So if you don't want to become the owner of this, then study. Because that is your only way out of this place. If not, when you fail your exams and when you become a dropout from school, all I have for you is this." And as a young boy, I told myself, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And I never wanted it. And I would never own that land because I became a priest. I made sure that every time I was on top of the class simply because I didn't want that land. It was something that I abhorred from my heart. I don't know why, I just didn't like it. That waking up early in the morning and then sometime with the dew and everything, they ask you to go, and then they just, sometimes you even walk sleepy and you'll be carrying your water, and then as you go, some of the grass and everything will just scratch you, and then I was like, why do we have to do this? And then she said, if you don't want this, your only ticket out is school. My dear friends, today I am telling all of us, we are meant to be saints. We must love to be saints. And we must tell ourselves until it sticks in our hearts and in our minds that we are called to be saints. I want to be a saint. And I love the opening song with which we began today's celebration. He said, "Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in their number." And I remember that song also very well because in the past, in the seminary, that was the day for the investiture. The day that a young man, having studied for a number of years, would be given the cassock for the first time. And you could imagine the joy of a young man who, after many years of dreaming of becoming a priest, finally has the opportunity of putting on the garment of a priest. Something that makes him look like a little father. And when that one is given to you, you place it on your hands, and then in the procession they sing, "Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in their numbers, oh, when the saints go marching in." And you can imagine, with your trousers well ironed, and your long sleeves and your tie, for once I am going to put off this. And then for once, I am going to look like a priest. And then you are in that procession as you come to the altar, and then the bishop is behind you, ready to pray over that cassock and make it a garment for you, which will distinguish you from the rest. And that going forward, you look like somebody who is in the process of becoming a priest. And when I heard it this morning, I said, this song never fails to touch my heart, because it brings us to the very core of what we want to be. We all want to be priests. Oh, sorry, not all of us. Or you also want to be priest? In fact, yesterday there was this young man here, a married man. We were cutting the tree out there in the garden, and then he came to me and said, Father David, I want to be a priest. And I know he's married, he has young ones, and I said, what do you mean? He said, Father, I want to be a priest. I said, okay, make sure that your children have become independent, and then we can talk. But I don't know what he has seen about the priesthood. And I hope that it's not because he's having a hard time in the marriage. But even still loving his marriage, he wants to become what? A priest. Maybe he wants to double. Be a priest and then a married man at the same time. Because I've also seen that. I lived in a parish in the U.S. where there were a lot of married deacons. And there was this young man in the sacristy. One day, one of the priests living with us was called to be a bishop. And after his consecration, he came back to the parish to have a Thanksgiving Mass with us. So as we were vesting in the sacristy, this young man was there, and he was looking at the bishop with a certain sense of admiration. So Monsignor Brennan turned around and then said to him, how are you? I said, I'm very fine. He said, would you want to become a priest? And we were all expecting that he would say yes. Then he said, no. So Monsignor Brennan was taken aback, and then he said, why don't you want to become a priest? He said, I want to become a married deacon. And then we all said, why? He said, I want to have a family, and I want to be here. But he was a very smart young man, about 8 or 9. He has been thinking about it, how he will be able to have both, the best of both worlds. And then he knew that the deacon was so close. So he said, no, I want to become a married deacon because I want my family, and then I want the priesthood as well. But if I can't get the priesthood and I can become a deacon, why not? I will take it like that. But my dear friends, I just want to encourage all of us not to shy away from holiness, and not to shy away from striving day in and out to become holy, because this is who we are. And the expression that I used early on, the communion of saints, which we have been saying over and over and over again, today I want to delve into it a bit deeper. Basically, it means that we are a community that is supportive of one another towards the goal of becoming saints. Not all of us are saints yet, but if we are a member and then we belong to this communion of saints, it means that we are all pursuing sainthood, and we are supportive of one another in the attainment of sainthood. So you cannot be a member of that communion of saints without desiring to be a saint. And we have been professing it for many years. So I do want to believe that all of us would want to be saints. Sometimes I tell people who come to marriage counseling with me, people that I'm preparing for holy matrimony, and then I tell them that the ultimate goal of marriage is to become saints. Therefore, the two of you are meant to be supportive of one another in the pursuit of holiness. Sometimes they look at your face and they smile, as if you are coming from a different world. But my dear friends, that is exactly what it is. Just as you expect a priest to be holy, you are also expected to be holy in your marriage. Because it is in the difficulty of daily experiences that we show our holiness, or we grow to become holy. We are not meant to be separated from the realities of life. We are not meant to be shielded from the difficulties of the daily experiences of life, but that is in the manner in which we execute our response to the challenges of the day, that is how we become saints. So in living with that brother or sister, in living with your siblings, in living with your husband or wife, in being able to forgive one another, in being able to express humility, in being able to sympathize with one another, and in being able to care for one another, that is how you grow to become a saint. It is not only when you are holy. I hope you understand that expression, because all of you are very familiar with the Ghanaian English. When they say holy, it basically means holier than thou. Every time you are seen to be that sanctimonious, you go about and everybody thinks everything is cool, but deep down, turmoil. My dear friends, holiness is not being drawn away from the realities of life. We are called to confront the situation and give a Christian response. What would Jesus Christ have done? What would have been his response in this situation? And as a child of God, that is what you are meant to be. And I'm happy that the gospel reading today makes it simple for all of us. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God." My dear friends, the word blessed, in the Christian sense or in Christian spirituality, also means happy. Happy. The saints, the blessed, are the ones that are poor in spirit. They are the ones who mourn. They are the ones who are meek. They are the ones who hunger and thirst for righteousness. These are experiences that we go through daily. But you don't go through just as I did when my mother asked me to go to the farm, grumbling and weeping and wailing and then giving excuses. No, that's not how a Christian confronts the situation. A Christian confronts the situation head on and with a positive spirit, knowing that with the grace of God, I will be able to sail through this one as well. So I mourn as a Christian. I thirst for justice. I thirst for righteousness. I have a humble spirit, not simply because I want everybody to see me as holy and sanctimonious. No, it is simply because it's my way of life. Jesus tells me that those who humble themselves will be exalted. And it is that humility of spirit and of being that is what brings us to holiness. That's what makes us happy, and that's what makes us saints. So blessed are the clean in heart. My dear friends, sometimes, I don't know whether you know, there is something called a preview or a trailer or something like that. That, if you like it, a teaser, that you are going to watch a film or something is going to happen, and then they tell you just a small bit of it to whip up your interest. And then having seen that small bit, it whet up your appetite, and then you want to go and then see it. Sometimes, deep down in my heart and in my mind, I say, God, I wish I can have a sneak preview of the heart of all my parishioners. But then I also sit down and I tell myself, you never know what you are wishing for. Because sometimes wishes do come true. And then you might be surprised or maybe disappointed in what you see. But my dear friends, without getting a preview, a teaser of what is in your heart, you know what is deep down in your heart. Do you have a clean heart? Do you have a humble spirit? Are you the one that thirsts for justice? Are you the one that is mediating for righteousness? Are you the peacemaker? Are you that one who shows mercy? These are simple questions that would help us to judge our level of sanctity. So today I commend the gospel reading to you. In your own private spare time, read through it again and then ask yourself, where am I on this journey of holiness? But then, wherever you find yourself, don't be discouraged, because the Lord has given you now, the here and now. The Lord has given you this moment. The Lord has given you this opportunity. You don't need many years. You just need to begin now, and holiness is yours. Dear brothers and sisters, let us desire holiness. Let us work for holiness, and let us love to be holy. Now, I wouldn't ask how many of you would want to be saints, because I can take it for granted that all of us would want to be saints. So let us strive to be members of this communion of saints, and let us ask our brothers and sisters who have preceded us on this journey of holiness and are already in heaven to cheer us on, to pray for us, to intercede for us, and then to motivate us even as we strive to be in heaven. May the grace of God be with us this day and always, and make us saints. Amen.
Amen.